Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people that do amazing things. And today, I'm so stoked to finally have Chaz Samuel and Shayna Cort, two amazing people that do really cool stuff. And today I found out you're doing your PhD. I'm like, oh my god.
I am, yes.
Yeah, because it was like we're talking about No Days Off Apparel, your apparel company, and it's like, oh no, she did the logo. I'm like, she pretty much said we have to do this, and then I found out you're a PhD too. I'm like, how do you have time to do all these things you do?
Well, you know what? I just love to make good use of my time. So not only doing a PhD, but I also work part-time taking care of an elderly woman. And I think that it really does embody what our brand stands for. It's that, no matter what it is, just put in 100% effort into everything that you do, and the results and the hard work will pay off. So, yeah,
No Days Off. That's what I kind of reached out to you first, and then I found out that they're also doing basketball clinic.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like for different ages too.
Yes.
How did that start?
So definitely. So since COVID, I've realized that a lot of people are inside doors. Can't really do much if the social distance. And a few people actually reach out to me and said, hey, Chaz, I want to play some ball. I want to have some fun. I want to let up my energy. So what happened is that I actually started with one particular kid, and we started off, and then their parents referred somebody else, and then somebody else referred someone else, and very quickly started to grow. So like, for example, right now, weekly, I'll work with like 10 to 15 kids, ranges from all ages. My youngest kid is 10 years old. It goes up to one guy's actually in university playing ball at Mount St. Vincent.
Wow.
So it goes from different ages, and we all have fun. So that's the beauty about it.
Yeah, and the other thing I noticed is I love the videos because I play basketball, I don't know, a long time ago. But I was just like, bounce and put it in the net. But it's not really focused on that. Like, different people are doing different things. Like,
Yes.
One of the coolest thing I saw was this guy was bouncing two balls, and then he'd pass one under his leg and then switch the other hand. Was like, I just did the mic again. I'm always tapping the mic. But so how do you decide what to do with each client?
Yeah, perfect. So when they first come, I definitely analyze them and see where their skill level is at. And then depending on where their skill level is at, I'll give them different drills that actually will embody and help them with what particular skill level they're at. So I have so many different drills, but not for every drill I'll definitely give you, because you may be at a different skill level than, let's say, the other person. So it all depends on where their level is at. And then after analyzing, I'll give them certain drills that best help them. So everybody is different. So, But the biggest thing with it is that I just want the kids to have fun and just let that energy, because everybody's been indoors.
Yeah,
for
and
a
I
long
saw it's
time.
like both guys, girls, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter, everyone is all
exactly,
there having
definitely.
fun.
Yeah.
One of the other ones were where this guy was bouncing, but you have like a kind of thing holding
a little
him
bit
back
of resistance.
from.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to simulate like game situations. So in the fourth quarter, with a little bit of resistance, somebody in the back of you, I'm pulling you, so you still got to shoot through that shot. So in the game time, it won't affect you. So I do different things that will definitely simulate game situations.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Shayna, how did you guys meet?
So actually, I love telling this story.
Go for it.
We were in the same high school, and I had the biggest crush on Chaz.
Wow.
And Chaz, he was the star of his basketball team. He was very sports and very athletic. And he never took me on, and that was fine. And we went our separate ways. And, time has a funny way of bringing people back together. So 3 years ago, we reconnected in our home country, which is Antigua and Barbuda. And from there, we kind of just been inseparable and just working through everything together. He moved up here to be with me in Halifax and go to school at St. Mary's University. That was a big move for him, but we've been riding through, and it's been such a great friendship and relationships ever since.
So then, I guess, when was the idea for No Days Off exactly?
So No Days Off started about, I would say, the phrase, we started saying it maybe about a year ago. And how it actually happened is that I was actually playing basketball again back home in Antigua where we're from. Shout out to all my Antigans back home. And I was playing with this particular guy that was very shy, didn't want to go on the court and stuff. So we started playing every day. And eventually another person came, and the parents actually came to me and were telling me that my kid she never expected my kid to come out and play basketball because he was too shy. He always thought that he was shorter than all the kids. So I realized that was actually giving them confidence. So some days I'll be tired. This was free, no charge, of course. We were just playing and having fun. So some days I'll be tired, and the guys are actually telling me, hey, Chaz, we got to go today. We got to go every day. It's no days off. I want to get better. So all of us started to actually say the words, no days off, no days off. So I was like, hey, Shanes, what's not a better way to like make a shirt or make something that they can actually wear to actually embody how they feel. So that's how it all basically started, saying no days off. So then I went to Shayna, and she's the brains behind a lot of things. So we were like, what logo could we use? Should we pay someone? Should we try and like outsource it? So quite smartly, she designed the logo, came up with the whole thing, and we created maybe 5 shirts we started off with.
Yeah.
We sold them in Antigua locally. We came up here, we trademarked the logo, we registered our business up here, and then we just started, and that's how it basically took off.
Yeah.
So wow, that's great. And now you're not just doing your PhD, but it's like in neuroscience. So it's like, it's crazy. How did you go down that path of neuroscience?
So for me, I've always loved science. And back in Antigua, we don't
What do
have...
you love about it?
I just love learning, and I find with science, it is a lot of reading and it's a lot of books, but it's a lot of knowledge that is so valuable, and especially because I want to go to medical school. Everything that I'm building up is to become a doctor and to help others using my skills in the medical field. And so that's really what it stemmed from, and my interest in science. And coming up here, it's funny enough, I never thought about neuroscience or neurology or neurosurgery. But I did meet my RA, who we became really good friends, and I took up a neuro course as an elective just so I can have a buddy to go to class with, coming here, being new, etc. And from there, it just I fell in love with the course, I fell in love with the field, and I just continued on to my major in neuroscience. And luckily got the opportunity to do my master's following my graduation, and from then I rolled into the PhD program.
So, but that's like so much studying to be a doctor, because like you could have skipped the PhD thing and just gone to medical school, right?
Yeah, you know what? My ultimate goal was really just to finish up with the master's, but there's just a love that keeps bringing me back to want to, continue on, especially in the academic field. And so not only do I love learning, but I do love teaching as well, and having that blend of academia plus the clinical world would allow me not only to see patients, but if I would love to teach as well, that would give me that background in order to do that. So I thought, why not, finish up with a PhD, and that way I can blend both clinical practice and academia and have my work in a clinical setting, but also be able to teach. And those are 2 things that I love. So,
gosh.
Yeah.
So, I guess to do your PhD, you kind of have to focus on something like a thesis, yeah.
Right.
Like, so what's it on? What are you doing?
So
your PhD
my
on?
thesis is centered around traumatic brain injury, and specifically around post-traumatic epilepsy following traumatic brain injuries, which is a major complication that happens after TBI. And TBI, which is abbreviation for for traumatic brain injury, there are different grades of TBI, and so I look specifically at moderate TBI. And that has a very high percentage of developing post-traumatic epilepsy and other complications, including cognitive decline. So I'm looking at drugs and preclinical trials of drugs in order to treat or even prevent these complications from happening.
So, I guess, what are some things that will cause TBI?
Yeah, TBI, traumatic brain injury. So there's a wide range, as I said. You have grading from mild all the way to severe. So a severe car accident where you have trauma to the head, that could be classified as a severe TBI. But then you also have mild TBIs that can happen from a simple fall or sports injuries, so like in the NFL or even soccer, football, hockey injuries. So sports injuries that could be repetitive and mild trauma. So there's different grades depending on how hard you fall or the concussion grade. You can have different grades of traumatic brain injury.
So I don't know what else. Anyway, the scan where they make you swallow something and put you in that loud machine, whatever. Anyway, so like, would that be what you'd used to look at the brain?
So, not to get too complicated, but really what we're looking at is a structure in the brain called the blood-brain barrier. And the blood-brain barrier could be detected using, as you said, an MRI. So scanning the brain.
MRI,
yes,
yeah.
an MRI. So we actually use MRIs in order to quantify blood-brain barrier disruption after TBI. And that's what we're targeting to treat and help prevent the long-term complications.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, it flew over my head. So
I'm so
I'm going to come down to it. How did you start with basketball, Chaz?
I started basketball a long time ago through the high school process back in Antigua. Just always played for the national
When
team.
she had the crush. Yeah,
That's when I had my major crush.
I played for the basketball national team of Antigua. Played in the States as well. Played up here. So I just loved basketball ever since I was smaller. Loved it. And now I even loved it more just giving back to the community, teaching younger kids younger than me the game, the fundamentals. That's what really...
What do you love about it?
It just lets me not think about anything. Let's say I have a stressful day, I'm out on the court, I can relax myself, I can take my shots, just an outlet. So I think for me, just playing basketball, it actually just relieves me of whatever stress I'm going through, or just makes me have fun, So that's what I really love about it.
Wow. And like, so what are some of the changes apart from their skill level with the kids you work with over the course of the weeks they've worked with you?
Sorry, said it again?
Like, with the kids,
Yeah.
apart from the basketball skills they pick up, what are some other changes you've noticed in the kids?
Perfect. So what I also try to teach is just when the kids come, sometimes they have sometimes unrealistic goals of maybe becoming the next Steph Curry, becoming the next LeBron James. But I'm also trying to teach them that they can become that, but also with basketball, you get to learn a lot more in terms of being punctual, being on time, discipline. So basketball, I'm trying to actually make basketball not just a sports outlet, but also giving you teaching lessons about everyday life to becoming an adult. So I think I've seen a few different changes in like some of these younger kids, especially. They are very punctual. Their shirts are in their pants. They dress in accordingly. So things like that, which goes a long way in life. I think those are other skills that they actually could learn with coming to the training sessions that I do weekly.
And what feedback do you get from the parents?
Oh, the parents are loving it because, if you have a happy kid, you have a happy parent. So I think for them, just to have their kid playing and having fun and give them a little 1 hour, 1.5 hours to make them do what they like, I think it's really, really helpful for them. So they're loving it. So,
and like, I guess apart from the word of mouth that referral that people do, where can people like find? So I have a kid. How do I let my kid come sign up to play?
Perfect. So you can follow our page at ndo.fitness. Says ndo dot and it's 3 S's at the end. And where I post sometimes occasionally post a few of the kids so you can see some of the drills that I'll be doing. And you can either just send me an Instagram direct message on the page, or you can hit my personal Instagram account, which is Chaz J Sam, whichever one works best. We know that we're now in the social media age, so everything is through social media. Just a quick text to me and we can talk about times that works best for you. How old is your son? And we can talk more about that. So it's ndo.fitness and that's 3 S's at the end.
Yeah. And Shayna, like, so you have a science background.
I do,
Where did the
yes.
design thing come about? Like,
I have actually been quite creative. I love art. I love painting. I like in my free time would love painting and
wait, you have free time?
I mean the 2 minutes I get between my part-time job as well as doing my PhD. But no, in high school I really loved and enjoyed painting. I actually did IB in high school, and IB is the International Baccalaureate program. I participated in that program in high school, and I was considering taking arts for my IB. But arts has always been a part of me, and being creative it's runs, I guess, in my family. We have a lot of creative people in my family, and so I honestly
what are
feel
some of the creative things?
singing. So one of my cousins, she's really good at singing, but she's shy. My sister's actually a really good singer as well. I didn't get the singing gene, so I can't do any songs today. But yeah, I just love being artistic, and as Chaz says, for him, basketball is an emotional relief of stress, and painting does that for me as well. So, yeah, the logo just came from maybe the artistic side of me. Yeah.
So I guess what was your idea behind it?
So for the logo itself, we wanted something that could stand by itself. So if we have just the logo, or can I point?
Yeah,
Sorry.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll restart. So for the logo itself, we wanted to have something that could stand alone. So as you see here, we have incorporated the letters O, A's off into the logo. But if the logo stands by itself, it's actually an N, a D, and an O, which stands for No Days Off.
You know what? I thought I was seeing wrong.
Yeah.
But I want to be sure because, like, you know, the N, then the O is
at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So
I was like,
yeah.
maybe I was
Yeah.
reading into something that wasn't.
No, yeah,
there.
it was
you're
actually
right,
designed
you're
that way for it to be a standalone NDO, standing for No Days Off.
So, like, do you print them in Antigua or how does
So how it works is that we actually do print some of our items locally. We also outsource, for example, the activewear. So we do a bit of both. We do support the locals, so we actually get some printing done locally, and we also get some stuff outsourced
Yeah, so
overseas as well.
For sure, most of our all of our T-shirts and hoodies and those kind of stuff will definitely be here locally printed. Actually, just up in Barrington, so we're right here in the city, printing and supporting local businesses. And then we also, as Chaz says, outsource our activewear.
So, like, the activewear is kind of new, right?
Yeah, so activewear just launched 6 days ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
We're getting a lot of good feedback. The quality has been amazing. People love it.
Yeah. Monica was just talking about it. Like, what was the idea behind bringing the activewear into No Days Off?
Yeah, so everyone knows that I play basketball a lot and I'm in sports a lot. And everybody been asking me, Chaz, when are you going to do the activewear? When are you going to do the pants? When are you going to do the things for females? So we finally said, you know, let's sit down, think about it more, and let's come up with something that people could wear in the gym, people could wear playing volleyball, people could wear playing basketball, both for females, both for males. So with the help of Shayna, we actually came out with the activewear line, and we just, maybe you can point it. And
Yeah,
show.
definitely. I could open it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this. I'm not a girl, but I wear it because it feels so comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's what stood out for me.
Yeah. And also we're trying to make everything affordable because we've seen that in Halifax especially there's a lot of students. There's St. Mary's, there's Dalhousie. So we want to make sure that it's good quality but also affordable for the college students.
So is it ordered online or?
Yeah, so we do have an Instagram page. Our Instagram page is NDO Apparel Inc. So that's at NDO Apparel Inc. And we also have a website as well. It's www.ndapparel.ca. So you can check us out at both of those places. And you can order your stuff online. We deliver locally. We ship around Canada. We ship in North America as well. So that's how we get our stuff. And we're also going to have a pop-up shop as well on August 29th. We're going to have Shayna talk some more about it.
Yeah, so we're participating in a pop-up shop that is organized through the North End Business Association, and they are putting together this event called Taking Black Gottagen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah,
So they're actually having a part 2 this month on August 29th, which is a Saturday. And that's coming up 2 Saturdays from now.
Yeah.
And so we will be at the Seven Bays Bouldering Cafe on Gottagen Street. Yeah,
I know
and
that
we will
place.
be there from 12 until 5. You can come check us out. We will be having a number of our items on sale, including our T-shirts, hoodies, and the activewear specifically as well.
So on the day, will it be like cash only or tap?
Either which one works. So we actually do accept cash. We also have a tap as well. So both works. And also we're doing a mini giveaway to a lucky customer on that day. We'll be giving something from our activewear line, just free, just for the community, just for the people that come and support us.
Yeah.
So do come out and show some support, and we'll be giving away something free as well.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
great. You know, one thing that comes up in just Chaz and you, Shayna, like when you're talking, is like community comes up a lot. Like,
Yeah.
why does that matter to you?
Well, specifically for me, like we both come from a small island of Antigua, and especially in Antigua, like we've seen a lot of you help me, I help you, and we work in the community to achieve a bigger goal. So coming from that small island, and now we're living in Canada. We try to do the same thing as we've done in Antigua. So we're trying to get into the community more, especially into the Black community up here, and to help out because we think that really goes a long way into into developing the young kids in today's society.
Yeah, for me, it's very similar. Coming from Antigua, which is a very small island, it's a very community-centered island. And we find here in Halifax, it's the same. And that's what really attracted us here to Halifax, is that Halifax does have a sense of a community and helping one another. And we fell in love with that in this city. And on top of that, as Chaz says, we love to donate and give back. We recently created design shirts for the Black Lives Matter movement, and we donated funds to the Black Cultural Center for Nova Scotia for the preservation of the Black history.
Wow.
So we love to be a part of the community and to grow as a community. And I think that we both think it's super important to, know where you come from, know your roots, and to give back, because it's very important not to forget that.
So how did you find about like Dalhousie? Like, so you did your Antigua, you did your IB, and then how did the whole coming to Dal happen?
Right. So St. Mary's, it actually stems from St. Mary's-ish, because St. Mary's comes down to Antigua and they have their they bring down their people for recruiting and recruiting people to come up here to study. And my dad actually attended St. Mary's back in his days, as well as Dalhousie University. But I had two brothers who I talked about earlier. My two brothers who came up here and they were studying at St. Mary's University. And so I decided to come up here and study science at Dalhousie, which is close by. So I'd be close to my family, as well as my dad. He's an alumni of this school.
So do you have family here?
I have a brother who's here now.
Oh, okay.
My sister was also studying here, and she moved off to London for law school. And my other brother, who was living here at the time when I came, he moved back home to work with his CPA as an accountant. So, yeah, it's just me and my brother up here and my Chaz.
So, how do you pick up the colors for the outfits?
That's all Shayna.
Well, how do you pick out the colors for the outfit?
So I know, especially like in the fall time, people like to wear very neutral colors in the fall. So for our heavy wear, like our hoodies, we wanted to stay neutral with the colors. We did come out with a red color, which is like a popping kind of color in our limited design, just so we can have like a pop of color in our hoodies. But for the activewear in the summer, we wanted something colorful, something pastel, something that's bright and summery. And so we kind of want to go with the seasons. Being from Antigua, we don't have a change of seasons. Everything is just summer, right? But coming up here, we've noticed that there are change of seasons, and people also dress accordingly depending on the season, right? So we want to stay current with the colors and how the seasons change.
And have you been back to Antigua since?
The last time we were back was Christmas. We planned to go back this summer.
COVID.
But obviously due to COVID. I'm really sad about that. But yeah, we definitely do travel home at least twice a year, summer and Christmas.
Okay.
So we definitely keep going back to Antigua.
Yeah. So for the giveaway you have on the pop-up, like how would that work?
Yep. So pretty much we actually did a giveaway on our Instagram page recently, and it did well. Like, we got a lot of support. So now at the pop-up shop, we do plan to do a giveaway, and we think we're actually going to launch our activewear line for the men's early next week. So by doing that, we want to give a pair of shorts to some kid that comes to the venue on that day. And it's just pretty much a random person that we think came to support. We would just give them either shorts or a sweats on that particular day.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my luck. I'm always in sweatpants all of winter. Like once it start getting cold, I just wear sweatpants till like March or something.
Yeah.
So now I guess what for Chaz, the basketball, what's the plan like moving forward?
So I'm still gonna continue right throughout August. I'm currently searching for an indoor venue where I can continue with going forward into the winter months, because we do know that it gets really cold coming soon. But I definitely love what I'm doing, and I love the feedback that I've been getting. So I definitely do want to continue right up until October, November, helping the young athletes get better and also giving them something to do in their free time as well.
Sweet.
So.
And Shayna, because like I thought he was running this, but apparently he's not. What's the plan for No Days Off?
No, Chaz is running it. Definitely. I'm more just for the designing and those kind of stuff. Chaz I love he loves to give me a lot of props, but he really is the brains behind the business. And I also wanted to say that although we are very sports oriented, no days off can apply to any and everyone. So please feel free to identify with our brand, even if you're outside of the activewear, even if you're outside of
It's okay.
Please feel to identify with our brand, even if you're outside of the activewear or the active space, because no days off can apply to anyone in any situation. So for me specifically, I'm not very super active, but as you said, and as you know, I am doing my PhD, I work part-time, I have a lot of things that are going on in my life, and having this mantra to keep pushing me forward is super important for me. And I know that it would be important for a lot of other people who are working their 9 to 5s, have to take care of their kids, have to push through whatever it is. So our mantra and our goal is to affect everyone, not just a specific niche of activewear, which is super important. And being active and staying healthy and active and going to the gym is super important, but also for the intellects, also for the mothers, also for the families who are pushing through and making it every day. We want them to identify with our brand. And so we're just trying to continue to push forward and marketing to everyone who identifies with the mantra of no days off.
And also as well, like, we do say no days off, but it's not a case where we're saying to no days off until you run out of energy. Like, it's no days off, but for example, in basketball world, like, I do rest, I do take days off, but even when you're resting, your mind can still be going. You can be thinking about that play that you had 2 weeks ago, about that shot, about these creative ideas that you're trying to do. Because especially now, especially for the young kids, I think that now is the time that if you have an idea that you've been silent about, or you're not really sure if the world will like it, it's now the time to, like, hey, let me try and see what's going to happen. So it's not a case where it's no days off and you run yourself into the ground. We're not saying that by any means, but we're saying it's a no days off mentality, whereas you could be resting, but your mind can still be going, you know? So that's, I think, what we're trying to push forward as well.
So, I mean, I guess, like, going back to your PhD thing, what exactly, like, do you do? Like, are you playing around with brains? What exactly are you doing?
So I work with an animal model, a rodent model, and I specifically deliver a traumatic brain injury, and then I do neurological testing, scoring of these animals, and I do actually do brain surgeries in order to look for post-traumatic epilepsy. So it is very hands-on work with the rodent model, and I'm actually currently writing a scientific paper for publishing. And so in my scientific paper, you guys will have a wider idea specifically of what we do in the lab. And so I work with Alon Friedman in his lab, and we very much concentrate on post-traumatic epilepsy and how the blood-brain barrier is involved. And we will be putting out papers in order to really detail what the study is about.
How big is a rat's brain? Like, that small?
You know what? It is like probably, maybe this small.
Oh, it's bigger than I
it's
thought.
super small.
But so, how do you, like, do you use, like, little scalpels? Or?
Yeah, very little scalpels, very little utensils, very meticulous and very patient. You have to be very patient with these surgeries, because you don't want to put too much pressure, too much force, and drill too far, because I do have to do drilling in order to fit the electrodes in. And these animals, they are under anesthesia, so they are very well taken care of, and there's a lot of animal care protocols that we have to follow and guidelines that we follow, strict guidelines, in order to care for these animals properly. And we record for them over months, so they live and they're quite happy. And we really do spend a lot of time in caring for these animals to make sure that they're not in any sort of suffering or pain, and that our research is very ethical, and we follow a number of conditions in order to remain ethical with our research.
Do you give them names?
No, we don't. We don't name them, but we are very careful with them. We take very good care of them. Yeah.
But you kind of know which one is which, right? I'm guessing.
So we have a numbering scheme in order to identify our animals and identify, because we do have drug-treated animals, so we need to be able to identify for control animals, which ones drug-treated, etc.
Wow.
So we do have an identification system.
And, like, do you have, like, this big screen where all their brains are plastered on and stuff?
No, we don't have a big
No, not
screen.
like plastered or like images of the brains and stuff.
So yes, the animals do have scanning. So we do have brain imaging of the animals, and this is all done in vivo. So the animals are alive, and we're doing scanning just as if we were to go in for an MRI, right? So yeah, we do have systems of keeping that data. Yeah.
So like if you do go to medical, actually no, if when you do go to medical school, are you gonna be like a neurosurgeon or?
So I do hope to do my residency either in neurology or neurosurgery. I think that would be definitely my end all goal. And we'll see, I guess, when we get there. Everyone always says when you don't know when you get until you get to medical school, right? So I guess when I get there, I'll really have a sense of what residency program I'll be able to get into.
So I'm gonna ask you both this question. So
Yeah.
I'd like to hear each of your answers. Like, why do you feel this partnership works? Because like you're super sports oriented, and she's like super scientific.
Yeah.
But like, why do you think it works?
I think we are both opposite, but in the same sense, we are both the same. Like, she has a crazy work ethic, but in a way different feel. And I can't see how she goes up on Sunday mornings to go into school, but vice versa. Like, I have a crazy work ethic, but I'm always in the court, and she can't really understand, like, how can you get up to go to the basketball court? So I think it works well because what's there is that the work ethic is there, but we're in both different fields, but we always motivate each other. So some days when I'm tired and don't want to get up in the mornings, I see her waking up on Saturday to go to school. So that just motivates me to, hey, I got to go get up too. So I think that's what really pushes us more, and that what makes us such a good combination. Then also with No Days Off, I'm a good marketer. I think like I can push a product, but she's the person that actually to create the product or create the design. Like, I have a lot of artists in my family. Like my grandfather has actually designed the flag of Antigua.
What?
But I'm not.
Wait, you're telling me this at the end of the show?
You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sprinkling that in there. And by the way,
So I do come from an artistic family, a very artistic family, but I'm in no way means artistic at all. I'm athletic. So that's where she comes in, and she's definitely more hands-on with the meticulous part of the brand. So I think that's where why it works so well.
Sweet. And you?
yeah, I feel like Chaz covered all the bases. We complement each other very well, as he said. We know how to stick to what we do best. So Chaz is very great in the marketing side. He controls all of the social media marketing, everything to do with marketing the brand, the website, etc. And I'm very artistic, so I'm there with the designs and designing the clothing and designing the website. So I really think that we complement each other very well in the partnership of the business. And I think that he hit everything perfectly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, no, I think I'm going to have a part 2 when you guys are launching another line. Thank you so much for coming on the Blackout podcast. I'm like blown away, but you guys really compliment each other. Like you say, I'm super grateful.
And we
Thank
also
you
want
so
to thank
much.
you very much for giving us this platform to actually speak about other products. Like, people like you, we actually do admire a lot because you're in the community and you're giving us a small business the platform to share our dreams, our aspirations. So we want to thank you a lot for actually giving us this opportunity to say what we do want to say, you know. So big shout out to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening.